Hey, shalom out there. Hey, shalom. Good. Okay. Hey, shalom. First off, we like to say, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'Kar Kodash. Tawada Yahweh for giving us Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai in them. Double honors to the CT bishops, Abed Akim, and greetings and salutations to the Akim in this country and all over the world who are prophesying in the true name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody with descendants from those people on their father's side. Shalom to those who are scattered abroad. All right, here we are. Let the scripture speak. Right? And NYC camp, ushering the King of the universe, King Yahushai, from the power of Yahweh, the Father of our Lord, the Father of the nation of Israel. That's right. All right, and we don't got a topic. We're just gonna let the scripture speak. Whatever comes out first, we're gonna go into. So whatever you got.
This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation.
Baba Bishah again.
Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? The book of Revelation, which means to reveal, right? The Bible reveals things, man. It reveals the truth. It reveals the lies, right? So we're reading an actual prophecy of St. John in the book of Revelation. So what does he say again?
It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right?
I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. What does that mean? What is that talking about? Is it talking about, oh, I'm trying to lose weight? Let me not be tempted by eating this cake. You know, because that's what the church uses. The power, the scriptures, the virtues of the scriptures. They use for like minute, elementary understanding things. You know, situations. You know, very low, very low mentality breakdowns of what the power of the Lord can help you with in your life. You know, trivial things. It's not hard. Look, it all starts in your mind to lose weight, but you can't. Oh, you go to a church. Oh yeah, the Lord's gonna help you lose weight. He's gonna get you get married. He's gonna help you get this job. What the hell are you talking about, man? Nah. The temptation is talking about your life, man, and talking about the future prophecies of to come to the whole world. What's gonna come to the whole world? That the whole world's gonna be tried, and we got to keep our patience, because patience means to suffer. So the Lord's warning us in the book of Revelations, there's going to be a time you're going to suffer for my name. But it's a test. That's what a trial means. When you try something, when you go for a test drive, right? Or let's see, a trial, or not a trial, but we'll say, you go for a test drive. You're trying it out, right? It's a trial. You're testing it to see if it's good or bad. Right? So the whole world's going to come to a trial. It's going to come to a point where you got to suffer if I should take this or not. I'm talking about the MOTB, the mark of the beast, aka the digital O. All right, the alpha, the radio frequency identification chip. That's what that's talking about. So again,
it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
Because you believed in that faith and had the patience, because the Lord said, in your patience, possess ye your souls. That's one of our favorite scriptures. We actually did a whole camp on that. Because if you break down that that thing the Lord said, in your patience possess ye your souls, you can really translate it to, in your sufferings, you obtain or can lose your spirit. That's what it really means. In your sufferings, suffering what though? That's the question. Suffering what? Living in the wicked world, living in a society that doesn't extol the Lord. Well, excuse me, that doesn't extol the Lord, right? That doesn't give reverence to the Most High, you know. That don't honor Yahweh Shemashai, that don't give out truth. We gotta suffer to live under Esau, the nation of Edom. We gotta suffer broken families. We gotta suffer not to have the word of the Lord, not to live under the laws of the Lord. We gotta live under the laws of Esau, the devil, which is basically do as thy wilt and go off. Just do whatever you want. Right? We gotta be in subjection under the fucking devil, man. So that takes up, you know, look, that's why you got people losing the wits and killing people out here, because they don't have patience to deal with the system of the devil, which you call American democracy, whatever you call that shit. All it is it's ran and pushed forward by corruption and bribery. That's all the system is. The manifold things, right? It really, the main point of the system, right, is to keep Jake down. Right. And make sure whatever laws they push out, you so-called blacks, Latino and Native Americans, you ain't gonna rise. But guess what? The whole world's gonna be tried by an RFID chip, right? And you gotta have the word. You have to suffer the word of the Lord through the trials and temptations in your life, right? To endure, to get ready for the MOTB, to reject it, right? That's why it's good to get this sooner than later, so you can build up for the main event, which is the MOTB. This is what this is about, man. And you got camps not talking about this, man. And the information is out there. It's out there. It's already here. So again, Salah.
Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
Yeah, and the hour of temptation is talking about, again, when the RFID chip is administered or really legislated into law. You know, where it's here now already, but it's going to come to a point where it's going to become law to take it. And if you don't take it, there's no a penalty, there's no fine, there's no they don't require a fine, they don't require jail time. The penalty will be death.
Right.
So it's going to be a major extreme. Like, what's going to be worthy for death? What excuses are going to come with to do that?
Right.
It's going to be a hell of an excuse. They got to make sense. So they're cultivating those reasons now. One of them could be, like we were talking earlier, could be basically, you need to be identified, a worldwide emergency identification, because there's a disease outbreak.
Right.
So you got to take the chip, because the chip tells you if you're sick or not. It detects your temperature. You know, all this bullshit they can make up.
Just like they did with the Venom.
Yeah. You know, if you know what I'm talking about, we got speaking code with the Venom.
Yep.
The Venom juice in 2020 that the world got locked down for. All right, yeah, and again, yeah. When they offered you the Venom, it was basically you take it or you don't work.
Yeah.
And as you know, if you don't work, you don't eat. That's basically, if you don't work, you're like dead. You know? You know, it's like if you don't work, you're like dead. Okay?
Says, which shall come upon all the world.
Yeah, we shall come upon all the world. All right? This is not going to happen on 3 states or 4 states or on this part of the continent. No. The whole world. The whole world. Everybody on earth. You understand? Is going to be tried by this, man. And Yahweh Bashim Shai has warned you in the book of Revelations and gave you a 2,000-year head start. Over 2,000 years, man. Now, really, technically, the Lord has opened up the word again through Abba Bivens in '69 down to King Marshall, Happy Shaikwa, you know. You know?
You gotta give an order to get through this song, right? You on fire, man. You on fire, man. I ain't trying to quench the flame.
You know,
baby.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the whole world's gonna be tried. Everybody will try me one. You know what I mean? Brother going through a little hell again over here. But we here. That's right. You know? But anyway, yep. What was I saying? Keep going?
Oh, you were saying that the whole world is going to be tried.
Yeah, man. You can expound.
It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Oh, and I was saying, yeah, so now, you know, the Abba Bivens in 1969, where the Lord, which we know he is in the spirit, he's Elijah that came back before the great and dreadful day, right? So since then, really, the Lord has been building us up. Be prepared, you know? From Abba Bivens, the great Abba Bivens through the spirit, right? A special man in the Lord gave it down to King Marshall, another special man, King David. All the prophets are back, man. We're here, right? King David, I.P. Shaikwa, you know, Elder Ariyah, now down to Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakar, Apostle Ramla, man. And down to the CT bishops, they carried on the torch for years into the mid-90s when they broke up from One West all the way up until 2007 or 2008. That's when the other bigger group came in. You see? So the Lord's been, and they were making RFIDs back then. Even before then, all right? So the Lord has prepared us, man, for this great day, all right? And we're right here, and there's no excuse that we're telling you right now. And you see the technology, everything's going digital. You have, remember, Biden, when his last administration, right, said that, look, we don't want to be the last ones to make our infrastructure, our system, our government infrastructure, the last to take in the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. We don't want to be the last. We want to be the first ones. So what does he mean? Amongst all the nations, not by state. We're talking about the nations. So there's nations running and going for and forwarding their society towards a digital society. We're talking about the overall, everything really dealing with money, right? Even your cable, everything's going digital. Your cell phone, your computer, everything's going digital. The Internet of Things.
Right, like not only money, but your whole life.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all information is going digital, right? So it's everything. You know, everything's going to become digital. And you mentioned Sleepy Joe, Joe Biden. Remember, it was when he had some sense, right? He was the one. This was a long time ago. I think it was
80s or something.
Nah, I think it was like the 90s. It was like the 80s or early 2000s when he told a senator, he berated a senator telling him, you will approve of this bill. You will approve of essentially an RFID chip.
Yeah, he said, mark my words.
Mark my words. Now, how would his ass know about that? So when nobody was even thinking about that, or the majority of the masses of people weren't, that wasn't in anybody's mind, man. Now, how would he know that? Right? Unless it's been a plan for years and years.
Yeah.
You know? It's been a plan to push everything to push everything in a digital format, because it's a better, more efficient way of control. You can control everything now. If everything is digitalized, especially money, you can control people more. You know, and that's what they're after, right?
Yeah.
They want control. They want the seat of the Most High. They want to be like the Most High. Esau, right? Esau wants the power of the Most High.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's not about, you already got all the riches, man. You know? You can't count their money. So, you know, like the scripture say, I forget how it goes, but he's not satisfied.
Hell, yeah.
You know?
Hell and earth.
Yeah,
that's Proverbs.
you got the whole earth, really, the whole earth.
They
I mean,
control,
control of the whole earth. This has never been done. This is unprecedented. And guess what?
Yeah.
he's still not satisfied. This is the devil. Right? I mean, there's another scripture that says, well, you got something? This is another one.
Oh, it's I'm sorry.
It goes something like, he give him the whole world, but he still can't do righteousness or something like that. I forgot.
Isaiah 26, right?
Is it that one?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it right, but I know
Yeah. Isaiah.
he shall not do righteousness
Yeah,
or
we'll
something
get
like
all
that.
those.
I got this one.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, it's Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
One more time.
Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also, because he have transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
Yeah, the wine represents your philosophies, your understandings, right? So that wine, transgression, meaning how can you transgress, which means breaking the laws, right, with wine? That doesn't make sense. How do you know that? The Lord was a wine bibber. That would make him a transgressor, right? But we know that the Lord's perfect. So it ain't talking about breaking the law by drinking wine. You probably have some dumb church dummy breaking it down that way.
Right.
So read that again. It don't mean that.
Right. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
Yeah, transgressive by a wine, he breaks the laws by his philosophy. That's what it means.
And he's proud of doing it.
Yes, it's just a lot. Yeah, and he's proud about it too. I mean, for you to break a law anyway, you got to be proud to go against the laws of the Lord.
Willingly.
Willingly, not even by accident. There's one thing to do it, you have struggle and you break, fine. You know, we use simple analogies here. You're trying to exercise and, you know, you're on a diet, you do good for a month, but then you slip and had a cake or something like that. But, you know, it's a struggle, it was a battle. He ain't willing to do it. It's like, you were tempted, you know? But this man willingly goes off, right? He willingly set up laws to pass laws for homosexual marriage. He willingly passes laws to splice seeds to produce crops for your farm. He willingly puts laws for children against so-called sex changes. He willingly whitewashed the image of the Lord. They willingly took out the concept of God out of the school. We can go on for days, man. They willingly put the nation of Israel into slavery. Put chains on them and said, oh, you're not even a human. All right? So that was their philosophy, man. And you got to be proud to do that. There's no way under any kind of understanding you should be putting another human being into slavery just because of their fucking skin color, man. This is the power of the Lord that this even be done in the first place. Here, these people don't think they're so sophisticated in this society because you have technology, but you're still primal, like a mother effer, because someone's skin is darker than you, man. You know? That, you know, that shows you what state this world is in. So again, Salaki.
It says, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied.
Yeah, he doesn't keep at home. Right, read that part. I'm sorry.
It says, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth. I'm sorry. Okay, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Going from nation to nation and occupying nations by taking over their resources.
Right.
You know, going over to other countries and telling them, look, your democracy is not good. You're oppressing people. You should be following America's ways. You should be taking on and joining with us. Because your ways of living and your ways of your philosophy of how you carry on your land for thousands of years is not right. And you should come with America. You should be with our philosophy. Get down with our understanding, which is to have worship anything you want, right? Don't oppress gay people, right? Same people who are the same gender. Oh, excuse me. There's no gender. Okay. if you want to believe in God, you can believe in God. There's not a God, you're allowed. Or if you do, he has blue eyes and white hair. That's their philosophy. So on and so
you
forth.
can have freedom of speech as long as that speech is
not against the government.
Is our philosophy.
Yeah,
What?
exactly. Yeah.
How's that free? You know,
It's not freedom of speech.
That's not freedom. You know, but that's how Esau rules, man. His superpower. I always go into his. He was like a Avenger, or he was like a arch nemesis to X-Men. What was the other one? What was it? X-Force. What was the niggas that X-Men beef with? X-Force? X-Factor? Right? If they were, but anyway, so if Esau was like a super mutant, it would be lies, man. He would be a supreme liar.
You probably the most powerful one.
But yeah, that nigga, you know. But
you can take it to anybody if you got, you know. And that's true. That's true. I mean, look what he's done. Look at the world now.
He took taking on
Yeah. That's a true statement, man. The book of James talks about that. The whole course of the world has changed because of what came out of someone's mouth.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
They manifested
power in the tongue.
Their power of the tongue. You know, power of legislation and all that. That they didn't, you know, they of course they use force. You know what I mean? But overall they wrote in, you so-called blacks, you're three, actually, hold up, let me do the equation here. Oh, you're 3/5 of a man. Okay. Not 2/5? Okay, 3/5.
Yeah,
you're not human. And you know, they ran with it. The Lord's name, his name is Jesus, and he looks like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks like me. Right.
Yeah, he looks like this, you know?
Yeah, well, there's no such thing as Jesus.
Yeah.
The Bible's not real.
Now the Bible's not real.
But if there is, he looks like an Edomite, blonde hair.
Which one is it?
You know? But that's the power of his lies, man. But that shows the, like it was going into, it said, that's the pride of Esau, right? And he can't keep at home, he can't, well, that goes back to the curses. Everywhere he go, he just gonna, that's a sign of the devil. The thief coming forth not but to steal, kill, and destroy. So everywhere he goes, he's gonna want what you got and take your resources and force his ideology on you, so you could be like them, right? And then that was it, right?
Says, a little more.
Yeah.
It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell,
Right.
and is as death,
Right.
and cannot be satisfied.
Right. So you're going into how much control Esau has right now, and they're still not satisfied. They want more control, more influence. Right? But that's how they're programmed, right? It's like Esau was programmed by the Most High to be self-destructive. You know, here it is. He's got rulership over the whole planet, and in that time span, the Earth has become more polluted, weaker. You know, everywhere he goes, the land is void of soil and nutrients, because everywhere he goes, he just destroys everything, man. You know, that was it, right? I got two. Okay.
It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Right, gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, because that's his ultimate goal. He wants, his thing is to be like the Most High, Ezekiel 28. He wants to be in control of everything. But it wasn't for you to be in control of everything. It was for you to become a slave. And no matter how much you try to repress the truth from the nation of Israel, no matter how much you try to go abroad and take control of every other nation in their lands and their resources and try to influence them in your ways, guess what? That's not prophecy, man. Prophecy is that when you reach your apex, you're going to come down. And it's not for you to take that position of ruler over the whole world. That's for the nation of Israel to rule under Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's what that was part of the blessing, going back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right?
Yeah, that goes back to you. Basically, your position in this society now. We talk about the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, the international Edomite banking families, right? It was prophesied that you were going to be in that position way back in the book of Genesis, meaning that the Lord, Isaac, like you said, Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob, right, and to Esau. But the blessing for Jacob was, we're going to be the rulers of the world forever.
Yeah.
That's the covenant that goes back to the covenant, the promises.
Yeah.
But Esau, right? Esau, your blessing is what?
The sword.
The sword, and you're going to have the fatness of the earth.
Right.
You will be ruling at a time, but your rulership will be unprecedented. You will have massive power.
Yeah.
The next in line, the most power that world ever seen, next to our power when we rule.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're going to rule in wickedness. So the two dynamics there, right? You're going to see the most wicked, the most wickedest kingdom of all time right now. We're in it right now. And who's a part of that? Esau, the negative. And now we're about to come into the positive, the right way to rule, or of righteousness of ruling the earth. And that belongs to the nation of Israel from the power of the Lord. That's the promises. Okay? So it was prophesied that you were going to be in this state. And that's how we know at the end. Right? Again, we always bring out 2nd Ezra 6. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. This is very clear, man. The fact that this damn red devil is ruling, this is the sign that we're at the end. There's nothing else after this. After the next established society that's going to rule is the nation of Israel, and it's going to be by Yahushua being on earth. All right?
I got two here. So this is Proverbs 27 and 20. It says, hell and destruction are never full. So the eyes of man are never satisfied. Right? And that perfectly describes Esau, man. When you see like hell and destruction, like for instance, like when you see like a fire, right? What feeds fire? Oxygen. And it won't stop until it's quenched, right? Until it's put out. So we're in like here, if one bush lights on fire, all this shit will light on fire.
Just like people in Jersey.
Oh yeah, there was a fire in Jersey.
I never heard that. It was pretty bad.
That was
really bad. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
They said like 13. You did it right. 13,000 people got evacuated.
They was left without power.
Yeah, black house.
South Jersey. I forget, like somewhere in New Jersey. I think like South Jersey or something.
Yeah, somewhere we know.
Okay.
That's unprecedented. That's how you know we're in the last days.
That's scary too.
Yeah.
A wildfire in Jersey, it's taking out thousands of pounds, man.
Yeah. But that's destruction can never be satisfied, right? Same way like Esau. Here it is, he has rulership over the whole world, control, influence, and he still just wants more. And that greed and that want for wanting more just is part of what's bringing him down, man. You know? And then I got the other one in Isaiah, right? It was Isaiah 26 verse 10. It says, this is the one you quoted, right? It says, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. Right? It says, Isaiah 26 verse 10, it says, let favor be showed to the wicked.
Let favor be showed to the wicked. Right? It doesn't need a breakdown. I mean, even King David said that. He said, my feet almost slip at the prosperity of the wicked. You know, so there are times then, of course, that wicked people will have a lot of power, and there's no, should I say, it just doesn't seem right. But the scriptures do prophesy about times where wicked people will be ruling. Now, there's a nation that actually called the wicked. Right? You have an actual nation called the wicked, the third part of man. That's again the nation of Esau, the nation of Edom, Adawam, the red people. Right? The sons of Esau, the wicked brother of Jacob. Now, these people are on rulership now. Job 9:24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. They control the whole world, lock, stock, and barrel. All right? International bankers. Right? But the point is that, look, if you control the banks, you control money. They control the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, which really deals with monitoring money from all the countries in the world. So basically, they have all the power. There's many studies and videos, you can look at it yourself, that the technology that Esau has today, he can use it to actually better the world. So So it's not that the stuff that you have here is totally bad and things like that in some aspects, but really, if he wasn't a demon, right, we wouldn't be in this state. We would still live and die, right? But the point is that a lot of technology can be used to better the people, rather than they use it for military or really to poison you. A lot of technology is really to dumb you down and kill you people. It's not really there to lift you up. So the point is that with all the power he has, he's not going to do right by it. Because everything, all the power he has, he's using it to destroy people, to divide people, to kill people, and to lift himself up.
Right. I'll put that on top of it. So it says, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly.
Yeah, and that's talking about our land in Israel, all right? Here it is, he's not, with the power that he has, he's not going to do any righteousness, man. And what's the example of that? These Edomites, they're on top. And what are they doing? Wickedness. And overall in our land, you got the, what is the most wickedest things that according to the Most High, that you can do in the body? Is homosexuality, all right? Cursing your mother and killing them. But one of them is homosexuality. That's instant death, right? That's the worst, that's the worst breaking point of the mind. It's done. So basically, what I'm saying is that in our land, they have the biggest homosexual parade on planet Earth. And that's hard to meditate on because you would think that's here in America, with the gay parade here and all that. But they have the biggest homosexual parade over there in the world is in the Holy Land of the Most High, in our land. So here it is, all the power in the world, and they claim that they're the people. They're Jews, whatever, Israelites, right? But in our land, first of all, you got the truth, a holy vibration, the name, and then you're doing the most wickedest act on Holy Land. And on top of that, the things that you do as far as your societies and and your laws, it's not righteous. It's all wicked. Right? Over there, they say you can kosher a pig. Right? You can't make a pig is an unclean animal. There's no way you can make it clean. But to them, you can eat pigs, abominable foods. The point is, they're not doing no righteousness, man. Look at the result of the earth. All right.
It says, in the land of uprightness, you will deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord.
Yeah, and he's not beholding the majesty of the Lord, man. Apostle Tahar just did a show going into the Roman Catholic Church, and that the Roman Catholic Church, it derives from the Egyptian philosophies. The whole thing with the Pope being buried, that whole ritual, I think it was the funeral, I forget, I guess he said it 50 times, I forgot it. It's called the Egyptian phrase, I forgot it, but that whole burial with the casket and the crossing arms, that goes back all to Egyptian ceremonies, right? Honoring their Egyptian deities. And the Roman Catholic Church adopted that, right? Adopted Egyptian customs and coupled it, the idols with Isis, and, Nimrod and Semiramis, which all these nations have a version of that, Isis and I forget the whatever, but all that goes back into it's mixed in with the Roman Catholic religion and Christianity. All right. There you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, Isis and Horus. Water. Yeah, the original is that Nimrod and Semiramis, right, in Tammuz, and then you have the other version is the later version, which I think the Greeks, either the Greeks or the Egyptians, took in the Horus, the Egyptians, Horus and Isis, and they had a son which is I forget what the son is, but in the time of Nimrod, it was Nimrod and Semiramis, and supposedly Nimrod died, and then Semiramis had a son, which is his name was Tammuz, and basically she claims this is King Nimrod reincarnated, and I gave birth by immaculate conception, but the whole cover story is that's a myth. All it's a myth, and really I think she slept around and got pregnant and tried to say whatever, Probably got Nimrod killed. I don't know about all that, but the point is that to keep everything going, and that's how all religions were in the ancient world. They always deemed themselves as gods to rule over the people, so it could solidify their rulership. So there'll be no get back or come back. You know, because if you're saying you're a god, or you know, and you try to persuade people so, you know, then people won't fight back. All right, and that's what well, anyway, that's the point of that whole. So all the Christianity with Mary, the virgin birth, that's all Nimrod and Semiramis covered up. Right? The virgin birth and all that, that's idolatry. That all comes from the Egyptian idolatry philosophies. You know? So I forgot.
I got some.
You know, and they spread that lie all over the earth. All right? That's a lie. It's not according to the truth of the scriptures.
Right. It says, this is Revelation 11:8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Yeah, very simple. Their dead bodies is what? Meaning that, you don't have the knowledge of the Lord. The Lord said, which He is the life. I'm the way, I'm the life. I'm the truth, the way, and the life. No man come on to the Father but by me. All right, so the Lord, remember, the wages of sin is death. So again, proof that we're dead is that you live to die. As soon as you're born, you're wired to die, which means we're born in corruption and sin. But the Lord was perfect, right? Meaning, I did it in my show yesterday, and you said it. I just realized, like, the Lord never was put on the cross, right? He would have lived forever because He didn't commit no sin, right? So He had to go up there to bring the rest of the nation up to a level where the Most High wanted for the promises. But we all live forever and get them bodies, you know? But so that's what gives you life, the knowledge of the Lord, which only really the ones who can attain that is the nation of Israel. But prophecy says only 1/3 of the nation will attain that life, which is Yahweh Shai, which is really believing, right? Having faith and believing in our Lord. That's life. If you don't got the Lord, you're dead. That's why, read that again. That's what that means.
It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street.
They're dead bodies, all right? It's not literally lying in the street, but you're dead. Everybody, if you don't got this truth, if you don't got the name of Yahweh Shema Shah, you are dead. You're not living according to the Yahweh Shema Shah.
Breath.
Excuse me?
Breath.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's what Yahweh Shema Shah represents. The breath. What it says, it's the spirit that quickens. What's quickened means to make alive. You know, 2/3 of Jacob are spiritually dead. They don't know their power, and they don't know their, who they are according to the Bible. They don't know that they have enemies. They don't understand the prophecies which take place according to the scriptures.
So 2/3 of the nation of Israel are spiritually dead, as well as the other nations, right? Because they don't have the Most High.
Right.
They're not of the Most High. They're heathens, so they have no breath, right? As well as the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, right? And when you go into the word breath, it goes back to like inspired, you know. And they ain't got it. That's why this land we're living in, that great city is speaking about is America, which follows the customs like you went into of Sodom and Gomorrah and all those ancient wicked kingdoms. The people in that land have no breath, except the 1/3 of the nation of Israel. Right? I'll read that again. It says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt."
Yeah, not physically, but spiritually, right? You have mind, body, and soul. Mind, spirit, and body, right? So it's not talking about the physical, it's talking about spiritually, right? We have a body, right? But what's inside of it's a spirit. You can have a wicked spirit or a righteous spirit. The mind controls whether it's going to be righteous or wicked, right? The mind of the elect are righteous because of the faith of the Lord. The mind of the wicked are wicked because they don't have the faith of the Lord. So when it says spiritually, Egypt, it's talking about the mind of this society, the mind of the society is basically Egypt, right? A lot of these philosophies, the mind of the people here, or the mentality, comes from, for example, from all these other wicked kingdoms, which is involved in idolatry, idolizing, and false, not the truth. All right, like the customs of celebrating your birthday. That's not a custom of Israel at all. All right, actually, we have the knowledge to know that if this is not the promised land or what we're promised, then it's a curse to be born. We're not supposed to be. Right? We've been known in the scriptures that the Lord had a greater promise for us, man. So it ain't gonna be worth living until we get that promise, and that's in the kingdom. It ain't here. So if we're born not in the kingdom, or not where the Lord is ruling on earth, then we're dead. Right? Excuse me, not dead, but you curse the day you're born. So you curse the day that every society that we're born in is a curse, because it's not the society of the nation of Israel. Yeah. So again, the mentality of America, America is Egypt. You can look at your custom with the birthday. You know, that's from Egypt. The Roman Catholic Church, or even how you people die here, they have a casket, they cross their arms, they get embalmed, right? That embalmable fluid, that's what the Egyptians did. Mummified, they're trying to preserve their body for the afterlife. Right? What did they do? They throw in certain riches and gold to bring with them. So how stupid they are? How stupid. How the fuck you gonna die and then bring, like, you know, still there, man? But
Lord say, curse without coming sin, curse without going out.
Yeah, man. And you see they do the same thing now in this world. When you go to funerals, you know, they put stuff in the casket to say, yeah, you know, here's his jewelry, here's his necklace, here's his gold.
Making sure you got a nice suit.
You know, you got a nice suit on, you know. Oh, he was the greatest rapper, but let me put that rap up on here on the cover. Or some dumbass Jake. Yeah, let me put that 9 right here. Like, you were the best gunslinger in the hood, my nigga.
Put some coke on his
With a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, with a pair of sunglasses, man. Or that wild shit that showed really Jake. I mean, that even took me to the level took me personally of how gone Jake is. Remember that nigga rapper who died and they had him on stage, his body on stage?
Oh man, in the club.
In the club.
Yeah.
That shit was demonic, man.
Yeah,
That was fucking crazy, though. That was crazy, man. Oh, a lot. There's been more than one occasion.
They do music videos and they smoking on this dude. And they piss on the grave. They have shovels doing music videos, picking up dude's casket out. Yeah, all that wickedness, man.
Yeah, that's an animal, but that's a custom of the Egyptians, man, and all these other heathen nations, right?
That's why this place is spiritually called Egypt, man. Shit. They literally have a obelisk from Egypt, man. Over there in Central Park. I got a obelisk they picked up, removed, and brought here. That's literally from Egypt. If you look on their dollar bill, you got what, a pyramid. That's a symbol or a thing they worship or idolize, a pyramid. So all these customs that were Egyptian, they adopted them. You know? Right? And we don't have to, you know, the part where it says spiritually Sodom, that don't need a deep breakdown of why this place is spiritually called Sodom. Right? All of America is spiritually Sodom, which represents sexual immorality, which is pushed here in America. So without a doubt, this place, this great city, like it said in the scriptures, is spiritually Sodom and it's spiritually Egypt. You know? And then it says, where also our Lord was crucified. Right? And that's going into how he was crucified by the image, not only the physical image of him, which which was pushed here in America, like real hard, right? It came, that image was from the Renaissance period, but it was really pushed here in on this side, as well as his characteristics, man. The Lord is characterized as some soft-spoken person, that a soft-spoken Edomite that loves everybody.
Yeah.
That's not the characteristics of the Lord. The scriptures refer to the Lord as very austere. Well, first and foremost, he was a so-called black man. He was with deep, dark skin and white woolly hair. Right? So his name is butchered here in America, man. To the point now where our people want nothing to do with the Bible, man. Which, if you go to church, you can't blame them. Look how many people that are in the truth now, when they were in the world, they came from the church and they left because it just didn't sit right. The spirit didn't connect with them. Right? Because the characteristics of our Lord Yahweh Shai was butchered here in America, man.
And to add to your point, it shows you what the mind of a woman, because the only people that fill up the church is women, man. And if a man's up in there, it's because of a woman.
It's dragged in there.
Yeah. Either way.
Or he's trying to get some.
Yeah, I was about to say, either you're dragged in by a woman, you're a goddamn simp, or you're trying to get with a woman in church.
Yeah.
Either or is just demonic.
Yep.
All right, because the church is, I figured out real little when I was young. This something ain't right, man.
Yeah.
And then it came to a point when I went to go visit my aunt in 2004 in Florida, and I remember at that point I was almost atheist, but I really became agnostic for a little bit. But agnostic means you believe in our power, but you don't believe in the church, But I believed in the Creator, I believed in that totally and all that, But I remember I was so upset in 04, and they took us to church. I walked out. I went in there and I walked out, man. I just waited outside. And then, hey, what happened? You all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right, But now I know why. I was enraged, man. What the fuck is this shit, man? Because I had a hatred for some of the things. The worst I hated was Jehovah's Witnesses. And around 04 was speaking, But, but like you said, like if you got a sense, it ain't, because it's a whole bunch of hypocrites in there, man. People think they can do whatever they want and you go to church and you're good.
Right.
But then you go home but basically you're just a hypocrite. You can see through people and it's all an act, But anyway, the point is, women, they can't see through that. They're not designed to see truth. They don't have the faculties. They're not built. It's not built in them. Just like if I always use analogies. Look, if you got a regular car and then you got a turbo car, maybe the same brand, a Nissan, I don't know, new turbo car, Maxima. There's one turbo edition and there's one with just regular Maxima, right?
Would that be like naturally aspirated?
Huh?
Naturally aspirated. It's basically like base without the turbo.
Yeah. Okay. Come.
Oh, he's a guy.
So basically, no matter what the car with the non-turbo installed in it, it can't do what the turbo car is doing, no matter what. So that's what you women are, man. You can't attain this. You're not built to attain it. Look at the evidence. You fill up the church and you support everything the world does. You just go according to the world, and you follow power. But I don't want to get to that. But
That was it. I was just going into now America's spiritual Egypt.
That's right.
Because we're going into Egypt. Or whatever, right? Well, we could just now we could. Okay, you got something?
Yeah, this 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. It says, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Heavenly Father, for they are foolish unto him."
Yeah. The natural man that represents like a carnal or an unspiritual man. Okay, that's what the natural man is, right? So read that part again.
It says, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of Yahweh."
Right, not the things of the Spirit of Yahweh. Right? They can't see spirit. They can't see through a spiritual lens. They see through a natural or a carnal lens. Right, which is a big fault to them. right? Which in turn was done by the Most High. The Most High can flip. I always refer to it as like a light switch. He can turn it on or off. The natural man is off. Now Esau, on the other hand, is naturally he there's no switch. There's no switch, no light, just black darkness. Why? Because he's created to be pure wickedness, right? Go ahead.
It says, for they are foolishness unto him.
Right. They are foolishness unto him, unto an unnatural, unto an unspiritual man. The Most High is foolishness. People that worship and believe in the Most, to them it's foolishness. Right? Because they have no spiritual light bulb, man. It's all blackness, man. Right? So to them it's foolishness. What does it say in Psalms 14? It says, "Ye that don't believe in the Most High is foolish." So he's really a fool, right? Right now, all the time, 14:1.
Proverbs.
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 I think you're right there.
What?
Psalms.
Psalms is there.
So, I mean, it does say fool. Let me read it
Maybe
anyway.
that's what it is.
Might be
There's
spread
14:1.
For Psalms 14:1, it says, "The fool hath said in his heart."
There you go.
Yeah.
That's spirit, you know? That's how you know it's a spirit, because you be thinking something else, but then you just said it out loud, you still doubt the spirit. Psalms 14:1, it says, "The fool." Damn it, I never saw that before. It says "the" in all capital letters. Wow. Yeah, so it says, God. It says, "The fool had said in his heart."
The fool has said in this instance, in these scriptures, that represents, well, the fool and the natural man, that represents the same person, which is a person that's unspiritual, right? That sees everything through a carnal lens. Esau naturally is like that, right? The so-called white man is naturally like that. Our people that that don't believe in the Most High, they were programmed to do so by Esau, right? So it says, what?
The fool had said in his heart,
Right?
"There is no power."
It said the fool has said in his heart, there is no power, right? But he's a fool.
Yeah.
You're an idiot if you walk around here, experience or learn about things about the earth and creation and how things are created. If you think there's no God, if you think there's no higher power, you're an idiot, man.
Yeah. Don't lose your thought. Two things will back you up. Because that was one of my future souls I got saved on my list. Basically, if you want to know about God, if you want to know about God, you gotta go. Just go into creationism. You know, you want to know about the Creator, go into creationism. You know, like you said, there's evidence around us to know that God exists. If you just study life, all the ologies, there's evidence of a creation from a creator, or in other words, intelligent design, and it's very easy. This is you watch any look, just research creationism, you see what I'm talking about, man. All right, and also to back you up, to show that there's evidence of God. I saw, I've been studying a lot of psychology and the mind stuff. So I saw a video. They try to see if there's where do thoughts come from, or where do they come from? You know, they've done studies on it, and they figured it out, you know, somehow through their wicked technologies. But anyway, that they found out there's really thoughts. There's no original thought, or there's no original you. Is there a you? They found out thoughts they just come. So basically, the study was there's no original you. The point is that the point of the video was saying that the proof that there's a God is because we have a conscience. The fact that we think, right, in the first place, and have a conscience is proof of God, because it's part of the Lord's consciousness on a deep level. You know, there's no other animals or what do you call it, certain breeds that like us. Right? We're literally after the image of the Lord, the body, the way we think, and also other things that go along with that. But again, the reason I'll say very carefully, because animals are very much more ahead than what people think. But we have a conscience, right, of righteousness on a higher level. We like thinking, reasoning. Animals don't reason. So they have instinct and they act on it.
Right? We're like, that's why they refer to humans as at the top of the food chain, because they've got a higher consciousness than a regular, like an animal.
Yeah.
they have a conscious, right, but it's real low, right? That's why you have any animal you get, they're all different. They all have their own personalities, right? So they have a level of consciousness, but it's not on the level as a so-called human.
Like reasoning and thinking.
Right. That's
reasoning and that's something else.
Yeah. Okay. That's another level of
Like figuring out and reasoning and inventing and solving things and solving the universe. Like animals can't do that. You know. The only reason I held back from that is because I just remembered like there's some gorillas that can learn sign language. There's one gorilla that actually they put a chip in him or something, and it was actually speaking. And it said, "Oh, the white man, he's very sad. He destroys the earth," something like that. So, animals are certain level, but I guess, overall,
gorillas real high.
Because that took back because when we get that power, we're gonna be communicating with the animals.
Right.
Like you said.
David.
Go ahead.
Like David.
Yeah.
David.
Solomon.
Sorry, it was Solomon. Yeah. Yup.
So just to back you up, there's evidence of God doing things around us, man. That we are created. That's the key right there. So you were fooled, Again, so Psalms 14:1 it says, "The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God."
Right. Yeah. So if you believe that there is no God, you're a very dumb person, right? Because it's very simple to see if you look around you that there is a creator, and that creator has a name. He is the Ancient of Days, right? He goes by many titles, but his name is Yahweh, right? And the second in command, the first begotten Son, the first created from Yahweh is Yahweh Shai. So there's definitely a higher power, and his name is, and there's only one, and his name is Yahweh, the Most High. Right?
And one son.
And one son. Right.
Yeah, but then you say you a God.
What's
Talking
that?
about He says he's a God, but there's no God.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Good point.
Oh, that's
that's a good point, bro.
That's Thessalonians,
Yeah, how you gonna see it?
So professes himself to know God, there is no God, that he is God. You get that?
Yeah, because that's part of the New World Order anyway. The ultimate plan is to have a one world currency, a one world government, and a one world religion, a one world power, one God. So like that's an excellent point, brother. Here it is. God don't exist, but what's that? Faggot. Excuse me. Sorry. They take it down. I'm talking about a bundle of sticks. See that?
There you go.
That's the true meaning. The sticks for the algorithms.
Yeah,
Talking about these right here. Anyway, so Yoel Harari, whatever his name is, that Skittles package, the bundle of sticks. He said there's no need for God or something like that. There's no God, right? But at the same breath, he's saying, cool. I think he says no. We are God.
We are God, right?
Yeah.
Or we can replace God because we are doing things that are done in the Bible and we're greater levels.
Yeah.
So he's saying we have replaced God. He said we are the gods now. Something to that effect. We are gods now.
And the gods that, and they also, this new thing is they're pretty much, they see as AI as a god also.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think it was a country in Dubai, or one of those Middle Eastern countries, the first country that's going to allow them to, AI to create their laws.
What country?
One of them countries in the Middle East. I think it's Emirates. It might be Emirates actually. UAE, United Emirates. How you say it? United Emirates. I think it's Emirates. But whatever. But they're, who knows, that new religion could be, look, it's AI. It's the answer to everything. AI is the, it's all good. But AI is a damn program. That's all it is. It's a computer.
Yeah.
Right. So you can say their God they worship is a computer.
Yeah.
Right. So that was it. It was more, right? What's that?
UAE.
Emirates, right? Yeah. UAE.
No, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. You got an article?
No, I just
You just Googled. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Psalms 14:1. Again, it says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no power of God. They are corrupt.
Yeah.
They have done abominable works.
Yeah.
There is none that doeth good.
Right. And that's speaking about Esau, man. Esau is a abominable, man. If you see a so-called Edomite that's doing good works, he's probably a Jake, man. He's probably not an Edomite.
Yeah.
In their spirit, man. Now you got different levels of wickedness, right? You got some Edomites that are not as wicked as others, right? Because you might have some coworkers at the job, you know they Edomite, but you know they're not as wicked as others, right? So they got different levels, right? But
Different brackets.
But remember, you don't know what they do when they go home, too, man.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
You know?
But when you find the news, motherfucker had somebody locked in the basement for 10 years.
Yeah.
But he's a boss at, on your job.
But they still wicked though.
Yeah,
Let me make that clear. I'm not saying there's a good Edomite. Let me make that clear. All Esau is wicked, man. Because I'll tell you this, the ones that act nice around you, they be the worst
They
ones,
be the worst
man.
ones, man.
You know, who knows what the fuck is going on in their mind, man.
For real. For real. You can see it in their fucking eyes.
And I don't want to, man. I don't want to get in the mind of an Edomite, you know.
Crooked ass smile.
Yeah, look at that smile,
Devils, man.
you know, looking at you. You know, he might be, in a making jokes or whatever and laughing together. Meanwhile, he's thinking about little boys or something.
Yeah.
That's the mind of an Edomite, man. They're just a computer programmed for wickedness, man. You know?
And if I just noticed up here, which is the spirit Lord willing, it says they are corrupt and they have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Excuse me, it says the fool said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt and have done abominable works. So it's like, I just thought, like, Lord willing is like, of course Esau don't want a God, because that means he would have to be judged, right?
Exactly.
His ass can't follow the instructions. So basically, no matter what you are, even 2/3, right? They don't want to truly believe and commit, because that means they got to get in line. They don't have the strength to get in line. They don't got the strength to live up to it, man. You know what I mean? That's their fault, but they're warped in the mind.
Yeah.
Because that's the good thing. At least you know you can't do it, but the Lord's going to help you get there. That's what it means. When you repent, you acknowledge, look, I ain't shit. My mind ain't right. I want you to control every step I take. I want you to control every decision I make. I want you to take over my mind. This is the believer of the Lord, man. Praying every day, praying all throughout the day, man. And asking the Lord, please let me live up to your word and help me every day to fulfill your will and help me get right. I can't do without you. That's what you should be doing. Not saying I can't get right and I can't live up, so let me act like there's not a God so I can keep doing what I'm doing. That's part of that mentality too.
Well, 2/3 can't think that way. They can't think in a righteous way, man. 2/3 are programmed to, if anything, they're prophesying against themselves, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? The Most High is letting them know they're conscious, that they ain't right and they can't get right, man. Because if that was the case, what's the name? Not what's the name, but Yahweh Shai explained that in Matthew's the 13th chapter. He said, it's not for everybody, man. It's only for you, representing the elect. He said if it was for everybody, he was like, lest they see what. I mean, we can get it. I'm bad. I'm slacking. I ain't on track.
But on track, brother. Right on track.
Yeah, Matthew's the 13th chapter. That was it on that, right?
Yeah, that's corrupt. There's more, man.
Yeah, Esau is corrupt, right? Go ahead.
I mean, there's more.
Works.
There's only 7 verses.
So then we'll go back.
Yeah,
All right, we'll go back.
Matthew 13:9. It says, who have ears to hear, let him hear.
Right.
And his disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Right, so the Most High was speaking unto them in deep sayings and parables, right? Like riddles, And the disciples pulled them over to the side and said, why are you speaking unto them in parables? And Yahweh Shai is about to explain it, right? Go ahead.
It says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
Right? Because it says, he said, his answer was, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Right? Go ahead.
But to them it is not given.
But to them it is not given. Right? So he was very selective of who he gave the truth to. If he knew your spirit was a wicked spirit, he would talk over you.
Yeah. I mean,
He wouldn't make it. He wouldn't make it in a way where you were like, okay, yeah, like you know, Jake, they might act like they understand, but they don't.
You really don't. Yeah.
Right? But he'll make it in a way where he'll speak in a way where he could have said it a simple way, but he'll deliver it in a way where you won't just get it, man, because it's not for you to get. You know, it's not for you to get. Man, if you want to go into, your house, the Lord. If you want to go in, like, there's times I go into like rhetoric. The Lord was the master. Like he was a master at rhetoric, man.
set people up like tag.
Set people up, yeah, tag. He's like the best. If you want to go into like one of the, well, yeah, if he's like the best orator or the best speaker.
Yeah.
You know, where he can. It's just showing you in certain clips where he can say something very plain, or he can say something complex and speak over you. This was a man that was 12 years old.
Yeah,
12
there
years
you go.
old,
Yep.
speaking
Yep.
to grown men,
men.
debating, right? Because debating grown men about biology,
Yes.
about the scriptures. This was a man that was highly intelligent, man.
Yeah.
You see? So when the disciples spoke to him, I was like, yo, why are you speaking to them? Man, you was going to beat, shot here, check you out. Damn, man, wow, that was good. But, check something. You was going, they was like on a level 1. You was going on level 10.
Right.
Why'd you do that? He said, because, right? It wasn't, I did that on purpose. I don't want them to get it, man. Because it's not for everybody to get. It's only for a select few, right? So continue. He said, go ahead.
It says, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
But to them it is not given.
But to them it is not given, right? And then he's going to further explain it, right? Go ahead.
It says, for whatsoever have to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away, even that he have.
Right. So he said, one, I'm going to give it to one, and they'll get it, and they'll have abundance, and they'll grow. The other that won't get it, they're going to lose everything. You see? Go ahead.
It says, verse 13, therefore speak I to them in parables.
Right.
He continued to do it.
Yeah. That's what I'm speaking to them in parables.
Right.
You know?
But for you, it's plain. It's straightforward.
It's plain, man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, because they see not, and hearing they hear not,
right?
Neither do they understand.
Right.
And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand,
Yep.
and seeing ye shall see,
right,
and shall not perceive.
Right, yeah, so you're going to have ones that, most people have eyes and ears to hear and see, right? But the ones that don't understand, the ones that hear what the apostles say, what we say, the ones that can physically, literally hear us, they can hear our voice, but it's not registering, right? So they can hear, but they can't hear, right? Prophecy, it happens on a daily basis. Everybody can see it. Everybody watch the news, but it's only some that can see prophecy and rule. That's prophecy. And then you got some that see it and can't see. That's prophecy. They can see it, but they can't see it. Right? So he said you're going to have some that hear but can't hear. You quoted Isaiah.
Yep.
And then you have some that see but can't see.
Isaiah 6 and 9.
Isaiah 6 and 9, right? There's more, right?
Yeah. Verse 15, Matthew 13 and 15. It says, for this people's heart is waxed gross.
Right.
And their ears are dull of hearing.
Right? These people's hearts, meaning their minds, are what? Waxed gross, right? And their what?
And their ears are dull of hearing.
And their ears are dull of hearing. That's why, John, he said, or I'll quote Matthew, in Matthew 7, it says, don't give that only onto dogs.
Right.
Meaning, don't selective of who you give it to.
Right.
Because you're going to have some that are going to trample it under their feet. Right? So it says you have some that are dull of hearing and
It
So
says,
it says heavy. Read that part again.
it says, for this people's heart is wax gross,
Right, wax gross. Right. Go ahead.
and their ears are dull of hearing,
And their ears are dull of hearing. Right. Go ahead.
and their eyes they have closed.
In their eyes they have closed, meaning they can't see. Spiritually, on a spiritual level, it's speaking about. Right. Go ahead.
Gross.
Yeah, man. Oh, you think it?
I
Yeah,
am.
one of the.
Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking about gross and net.
I was thinking about
Gross and net. I know about one.
wax gross, right?
Wax gross, yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, least,
But
sorry, it says,
Matter of fact, you read it and break it down. Let me look up the word.
it says, least at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and shall understand with their heart and shall be converted and I shall heal them. See, and the only ones that's going to be healed with the knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai is the elect. All right, 2/3 of our people, the Lord doesn't want to heal them. All right, like what Elder Nas said, the Lord is not going to turn that switch on. All right, you know, just because at the end of the day, the only ones that can give you the understanding is Yahweh Shema Shai through the angels, man. All right, and through his prophets that heal the earth. All right, the apostles and elders, man. All right, so those that can receive what we're saying, you're truly receiving what Yahweh Shema Shai is saying through us, man. Which is plain unto the holy, as the scripture says. The ones that's separate from this world. All right, and those that can't get it, it's a stumbling block unto you. You know, so truly Yahweh Shema Shai is the stumbling block to two-thirds of our people, man. Okay, because they're not meant to receive it on the side. Only the election. All right, it says, but blessed are your eyes, and for they see, and your ears for they hear. So the elect is blessed, man. Okay, we're blessed through the Spirit, man. We're not natural creatures, man.
Hey, what the Lord said, I am from above, you're from beneath.
Yeah, yup.
That's a little too deep, but all the elect are the first fruits, meaning the first spirits ever created before the world began. That's in the scriptures, man. That's in the first two verses, and that's the first verse of the Bible. Right? In the beginning there was God, right? The Elohim, the powers. Right? The powers are basically represents it says the angels. In the beginning were the angels. Right? So in the beginning was what? The first ever Yahweh Shai, and then the rest of the powers of the angels. If you want extra proof, you go to First St. John, the first chapter. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Really, it means the Word is Yahweh Shai. Does not the Lord say, I come in the volume of the book? It's written to me, so He's the Word. And the Word was with God. If you translate that, it means the powers. So the Yahweh Shai, right, was with the angels. So people don't even know, like you say, going through parables, the whole Bible is cryptic, man. All right, because that's cryptic. It didn't even say plainly. But there, that's really the first verse of Genesis. Okay, whatever, man. Yeah, so that, you know.
It says, for verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them.
It says many righteous things desire to see what we see,
And righteous men,
and hear what we hear, and have not heard them. You know, well, we can say that. We can say now, since we're at the end, the righteous are hearing the word. You know,
And we understand more clearly.
and we understand it even more. Apostle always says that we know more than the ancient prophets did, because those prophecies came full circle now. You know?
They understand it back then. What they received, you couldn't break it down in that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So, all right. Go back. So I'm gonna read.
First book.
I'm gonna read I got the definition of gross, right? Read that verse again. Gross.
Back in Matthew 13 and 15. It says, for this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. These at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and shall understand with their heart, and shall be converted, and I shall heal them.
Right, so that part where it says gross, right? It says for this people's hearts, meaning their mind, is what waxed gross, right? You go into the definition of gross, right? It says to make thick.
It sounds like a part.
It says make fat.
Oh, well, okay. See, I always want, So when you have like oil, like let's say coconut oil, it can melt like it's oil. It's a wax or oil, but then if it gets cold or it can harden, basically. It can harden. You know, basically fat can harden.
Yeah. What happens when you cook something, man? You cook a steak, whatever.
Exactly.
The grease, the oil from the fat is there.
Yes,
The fat is there, and then once it cools, it gets hard.
It's hard.
You know? Actually, you said coconut oil. On the bottle, it says once it raises over a certain temperature, it turns to liquid.
That's what I gotta do sometimes. Like I'm good now, but like in the winter, you know, like there's no heat in the bathroom really, so I always like if I'm ready to use a coconut oil, I got the shower, it's like hard.
Okay.
So I gotta like put it on the hot water or put it next to the radiator to melt it, and then I can use it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it says.
So that's what's in these nines head. It's oil. Oh, oil represents truth, but their oil is fucking.
I say what it is. It says it's thick, right? So that's why it says
their viscosity means thickness. Our oil is.
It says it's waxed. It says it's waxed gross.
Okay.
It says for the people's heart is waxed gross, right? So let me go back to gross. It says to make thick, make fatten. Then it says the metaphor is to make stupid. Right? And then it says to render the soul dull or callous. Right? Which is what? To make hard. Right? So that's where you get the word or the term hard-headed. You know? Man, you're hard-headed, meaning you're thick. It's not going through. Right, so you can say, the 2/3, they're hard-headed, man.
Yeah. No matter what you show them, it's not gonna go through. You show them a picture, the blue-eyed.
Right.
That's not the Lord, you know. They won't. Right in front of their face. I mean, look, you can bring out the scriptures. I mean, we're doing that though. We're out here calling out. That's what amazed me when I first saw the apostles. That's what made me first. They were calling out scriptures and then breaking it down and then showing the proof. So I'm like, I never. I never witnessed. That was like a magic power.
We never witnessed any, but in a way, it is like in a way. That's why, in a way, we do have spiritual power because we have that ability also, right? Because the first level is to be a parent, and then it's once you the next level is to able to do it on your own. You're not so parent or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go back to the definition, right? It says to make hard-headed, and that's what it is. They just got too much. Their brain, their wisdom is just calcified. Man. You can't get through it. You can't get through to them, man. Thick-headed, and then it said to make stupid. Right? So it referenced them. It says their minds, their hearts waxed gross.
Minds, that's stupid.
Right? So they're already calcified, man. There's no use.
Yeah, it's done. You can't. Once something's calcified, you can't turn it back. Just like when you in Muay Thai, kickboxing, one thing they do is kick trees, calcify their shins to make it hard. But after you like, you can't. Oh, I'm done fighting. I'm retired. So let me make my calves soft again. No, man, you can't. That's it. So once self-calcified, that's it, man. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful. So there's no turning back for 2/3, yo.
But it says, for this people's heart is waxed gross. So it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna waste my time breaking it down to them in a simple way. For what? They ain't gonna get it, right? So I'm gonna speak over them. It says, for their hearts are waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing. You know? What dull means? You know? It says, their ears are dull. Dull.
You can barely hear. Huh? What?
It says,